Hey everyone, sound check. Can you hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. You can hear me. God damn. Oh man. I'm so sorry guys. That was a horrible freaking nightmare. Now I remember why I hate Google Hangouts. Oh man. Frustration Nation. But we are here. 26 minutes friggin' late. But better late than never. We knew we had to get on because we just knew that, all you guys are here and we're like, we can't just change the time. We have to get this stuff done. So I'm just making sure that you can all hear me. Yeah, I can see there's a bunch of you that can hear me. Good. Oh, nice. Everyone can. We're using one headset. We had to improvise, so we're using one headset between two of us. So Lauren's just going to have to speak close to me when she wants to chime in as well. So let's get down to this.
Hey everybody, I'm here.
All right, guys. So let's get down to this. We're a little bit thrown off with all this stuff, but let's get down to what we want to show you guys. So this is pretty much going to be, we're going to get through this as quickly as we can and still give you all the same content and stuff that we would normally do. So we don't want to miss, we don't want to cut anything down in terms of giving you stuff that's going to help you. So here we go now. I'll get Lauren to start us off anyway.
Hey guys, thank y'all for being patient. It's going to be a little bit tough because we're just going to have to switch the headset back and forth. Unfortunately, we won't get the good interaction that we'd like, but let's go ahead and get right into it. So on tonight's webinar, we're going to talk about how to eat delicious, filling, plant-based meals even if you really suck in the kitchen. So we're going to make it really simple for you. We're going to show you some things that are easy to make, easy go-to meals, and we're going to help you to be able to do this, no matter where you're starting at in your journey. And then we're going to teach you how to stop worrying about getting enough protein to gain tons of muscle. So that's Fraser's area of expertise. He's got all the muscle, not all of it, most of it. And so we're going to teach you how you can still get enough protein on a plant-based diet, how you can still gain muscle and be strong, because that's really what Plant Strong is all about. We're going to show you exercises that you can include in your routine that will burn fat like a furnace and that will build muscle as well. So whatever your goal is, you can achieve it on a plant-based diet. And then finally, we're going to help to show you how you can make a huge impact on the world without being a preachy douchebag or a vegan police. We're going to help you. We're going to show you how we do it, our approach to it, and just helping everyone, informing everyone, teaching them how they can implement this in their own life. And that really inspires them, and they feel like that they can do it, and they don't feel like they're having fingers pointed at them all the time. All right, and then just to tell you guys a little bit about what we're doing on the webinar, we are going to have an offer for you guys at the end. And we're going to have special bonuses for you guys who are live here tonight, especially since you've been so patient and you've hung around through the technical audio difficulties in the beginning. So we're going to share actionable things that you can do right now to burn fat, build muscle, and change the world. You're not going to leave this webinar without knowing something that you can do on your own. And if by the end you want to take your health, fitness, and your planetary impact to the next level, we're going to be sharing details about our new program, Plant Strong Elite, that we are finally unleashing to you guys tonight. We've been working on it for a long time, and so we're really excited to finally be able to unveil it. And if you decide to join by the end of the webinar, we're going to have 5 absolutely incredible bonuses as our way of saying thanks to you. And here's how this is going to work. We're going to run for about 60 minutes. We'll try to do it as quickly as we can tonight since we're already a little bit behind. But we're going to stay here as long as you guys need us. So if you have questions, type them in to the chat roll as you go along. You guys are already so active in there, so that's awesome. I appreciate it. Whenever Fraser's speaking, I'll be in the chat roll and, just kind of gathering some questions or answering them for you in the chat roll. Get a notepad if you want to start taking notes as we go throughout this webinar. We are going to record it. As long as Google Hangout isn't having any other technical issues. It will be recorded, but we're only going to give it to the people who are here and who stick around to the end. So don't feel like you have to write down everything we say, but do, take some notes and jot down things that really stick out to you. And just a quick intro to myself and Fraser, and I'll start. So I have been fairly athletic all my life, and I went to Louisiana State University for kinesiology. So I got my bachelor in science degree in kinesiology, which is the study of human movement. So it's all about the muscles, performance, and strength and conditioning. And I also minored in nutrition. So I had both schools of thought, which is really interesting, and I think it's why I've been so successful today in everything that I do as a coach, because I got different perspectives. I wasn't just taught one school of thinking. I found that in the nutrition schools, you were taught more along the lines of government guidelines. You were taught to more so to treat sick people. And then when I had the athletic training side of things in the kinesiology department, I learned a lot more about healthy, functioning people and just performance related. So I was able to marry the two and, really kind of create a performance-based nutritional approach as well. So that's kind of my background, my history, and I'm also certified by the American College of Sports Medicine, which is the kind of gold standard as far as personal training certification. And so now I'm just going to pass it over to Fraser and let him give you his quick story.
Hey everyone, yeah, we're plowing through this intro stuff at the start because we know that you guys pretty much know who we are. We've interacted with you all in the group a lot anyway, so it's not like we really have to really introduce ourselves much. Like Lauren said, we've both been in the fitness industry. It's evolved, so it's gone from being a paleo style diet over the years, and it's evolved, and now we're onto this vegan, plant strong way of life. And I can tell you now, it's changed my life in ways that I never thought possible. I did this with the intention to just feel better because I may have looked good on the surface, but I was feeling lethargic. My sleeping was terrible. I got brain fog all the time. I had really poor energy levels for pretty much the whole day, every day. And I just thought there's got to be something more to this than just what I feel like right now. So I started immersing myself in plant-based nutrition. And along the way, I learned about the ethical side, the environmental side, the spiritual side, everything. I really immersed myself, and it's changed my life. I mean, now my sleeping has changed. The way my body responds to my training and my diet's changed. The way I see the world has changed. Everything down to your hair, your skin, just the way that you live. I mean, it's such an amazing experience that I've been through. So we're pretty much going to share that with you today. So we're going to talk to you about all of this stuff. So essentially the first aspect of this, and I know that most of you guys are in Plant Strong Fitness group. There's going to be some of you that probably have seen our emails or seen maybe me sharing something on my page or Lauren sharing something, and you may not be in the group, but if you are in the group, you pretty much know why it's there. For the people that aren't in the group, and I'll quickly cover this now, to basically fill them in. Essentially, when I first started this, I could see that there was a lot of confusion with a plant-based diet. There was a lot of confusion around what to eat, and people were trying to ask questions, and they were getting really kind of weird negative responses from people. So they were the people that were giving them instruction were quite almost they had almost a condescending attitude about them, a lot of them in many of the groups, and I saw a lot of arguing and debating, and people who are right at the very beginning of their journey trying to change, and they would be constantly getting knocked down by someone, whether it would be just trolls on the internet or someone picking fun about the way they want to eat, or a vegan who is way ahead of them and is judging them on where they are right now. So we created this group, one, Plant Strong being, a strong body and mind. So it's not just enough to just, have that strong body, but you want to have that strong mind. You want to be sound and understand the nutrition so you can have a happy, healthy life, so you can be a walking billboard for this way of life. So if your goal is to help people come over and try this for ethical reasons, you want to look the part to help them come over and try it. So that's pretty much why we created this group, to help people, give them the tools in an environment that was safe for them to feel like they could ask questions and not be persecuted and not feel like they were being put under the grill for it. So let's get down to business. So what does a Plant Strong diet look like? Now, I know a lot of you in the group will have seen a lot of our posts, and you're probably sort of wondering, do they eat like this all the time? Like, how can I fit these things into my diet? How long does this stuff take to make? Is it, time consuming? Is it expensive? All these different things. So we're going to kind of skim over different aspects of it in the presentation. And if you have any questions while we're going along, pop them in there. And one of us, Lauren's going to be on there while I'm talking, so we can basically try and help you and actually give you feedback as we're going. That way, I can cover things through the process as well and kind of tie it in with what I'm talking about. But, most people think, a plant-based diet, a vegan diet seems very boring or very restrictive on the surface. I did, before I began this, the reason why I'd never really looked into it any further than anything really at all was because I felt like it was going to be too restrictive. I felt like it's going to be so restrictive I won't be able to, really live my life the way I wanted to live. But what I realized was it was just through my own ignorance. I hadn't really done like the research. I hadn't learned what all these foods out there were. There's foods that I'm eating now that I've spent decades that didn't even know existed. And it goes to show how myopic and sort of narrow our culinary tastes can be. Like, when we think we don't want to be restrictive, look at your normal diet. It's probably pretty repetitive. That's what I had when I was a bodybuilder on a normal animal-based product diet. I was eating the same things day in, day out, and I was feeling like crap for it. But I mean, these are some of the examples here of things that we eat on a daily basis. And Lauren, if you want to chime in at any point, you can just tap me on the shoulder. Where you work, obviously, we're working with one headset, so it's a little bit awkward. So, I know that she'll want to chime in and say things as well. So just realize from the get-go that a plant-based diet and the things that we can teach you and show you are diverse. And one of the good things about the recipes that we tend to make is that they're very simple. So, like, Lauren especially doesn't like long, complex recipes. So many of the things that she's created and we often post in the group tend to be pretty simple by nature. So let's jump on to some of these common frame of thoughts and concerns for people to begin with. So very often, and this is the main things that I have found when people say, if I go Plant Strong, so if I go on a plant-based diet, a vegan diet, lifestyle, where do I get, protein? Where do I get my iron from? Where do I get my omega-3s, my healthy fats? Where do I get calcium and vitamin B12? So those are usually the main one that people have a concern about, or one of these ones here. And for the most part, for a lot of people, it's the protein issue. So we can't dive into like deep discussion about this, obviously, for time constraints. But what I can tell you is that when I was consuming 250 grams of animal proteins per day, what I realized, and after doing some research and learning and actually being proactive about my situation, I connected the dots. I realized that a lot of my lethargy and a lot of my brain fog and sort of sluggishness through the day was probably coming from those animal proteins, because it was taking so much digestive energy to break down those compounds that your body can break those down and use them if it has to. But in terms of breaking them down and being efficient, it's not. And I was using so much digestive energy to break those things down that every time I would eat a meal, it was always going to be, majority of my meals were always protein. And I would always feel more tired and more lethargic and more brain foggy after I ate. Every time. So I would actually feel better before I ate. And that's not how we're designed to feel. We're designed to feel better and more nourished and more replenished after we eat. So one of the first things what I realized was that animal proteins were very stressful on the digestive system. And all the blood in your system is essentially going to your digestion to help break down those animal proteins, and it's leaving your brain, it's leaving your heart, your organs, your muscles, and all those other things. And while it's leaving that, it's leaving you with brain fog. See, reduce blood through the brain fog. So I made that connection. So I thought, right, I'm not 100% sure if this works, but let me just try this. So I started adding in more and more plant-based proteins over a period of a month, and I added them in every day. 1 meal a week, 2 meals in the second week, 3 meals in the third week, and by the fourth week it was fully converted. And what I noticed was that my lethargy and my energy levels started shifting. So when I did eat, I wasn't getting that sluggishness that I got before. Now, what I'm trying to come back to in terms of the protein discussion is that it's important to realize that it's not just about quantity. So like when we think about protein, we just think of sheer quantity. It doesn't matter what source it comes from. It could come from whey protein or beef or chicken or whatever it may be. But is that quality protein? Is that actually good for us? Can we consume it? Yeah, of course. But is it actually optimal for us? Is it actually truly, going to help us become the best version that we can? So it's important to understand that with plant proteins, they are more easily digestible. They're more bioavailable. So your body's able to use them much easier than it would be an animal protein. Because of that, you don't go through as much digestive strain and stress. So you actually reserve a lot more energy. And because of that, you have more energy to utilize and actually absorb the amino acids that the proteins create and to help build muscle. So essentially, it's all about energy conservation, bioavailability, and quality of the protein. So very often people forget that. People don't think about the absorption through their gut. They don't think about how much of this protein is being converted to amino acids to help build muscle. They just think about the sheer number. So I went from 250 grams of protein to about 100 to 120 grams a day. What I found was that nothing changed. My performance didn't go down. My muscle mass didn't go down. Nothing changed at all. And Lauren can attest to the same. And I've seen many plant-based athletes, many vegan athletes and bodybuilders who have been doing this for years with a lot of muscle mass. And what it tells me is that even on the smaller amounts of protein, they're getting more quality protein and they're still consuming enough calories. That's another important thing we'll bring in at the end there. But I'm talking a lot and I'm probably going too slow. So let me jump on to the next thing. And if you have any questions about those things, jump back and just throw them in the chat roll, and I'll quickly go over them as we're going, because I want to make sure that I'm not missing anything and that you guys are here and you got what you came for. I don't want you to feel like you left feeling like we missed things and there was holes everywhere. So post them in there if there's any questions about anything at all, guys. The next part is iron aspect, very often the meat industry has connected beef with iron. So, through years and years of marketing campaigns, we've connected the dots. We now think that beef is essential for iron in our body. So very often, people will tell, if you're not getting enough iron, you need to eat more red meat. That's not even true. That's just what we've been told. What you will find out, though, is that in terms of good iron sources from plant-based products and stuff, you have all the green vegetables. You have Brussels sprouts, you have raisins, lentils, pumpkin seed, brown rice, blackberries, black beans, broccoli, kale, even peas. Peas are high in protein. Cooked spinach. So all those things are packed with iron. And let me jump back. In terms of the protein sources, the ones that I would go for personally, and I tend to really use most, is quinoa, buckwheat, hemp seed, tofu, tempeh, beans, and seitan. Now, I know there's a lot of those there, but the tempeh is probably my favorite. That's a fermented tofu. It's really good stuff. Quinoa, all the essential amino acids you need. All the rest are packed with so much nutrients. So quinoa, buckwheat, hemp seed, tofu, tempeh, beans, seitan.
And pumpkin seeds.
And pumpkin seeds. You got it. Yeah, I mean, there's other stuff in there, but I'm just kind of rattling off a couple to you. Now the next aspect of it is your omega-3s, and this is kind of one that really kind of people kind of throw out there a lot. Like, you're not going to get your omega-3s, you're not going to get your DHA, your essential fatty acids and things like that, because you need that from, where do you need that from? Fish. Everyone says you need it from fish and salmon, and you need to eat your salmon and fish, but where do the fish get it from? The algae. So they consume these things in the water, and that's where they get their omega-3s in their body from. See, we're going through the animal to get the nutrients, when really we could go straight to the source. And that's the same principle with every one of those things, with the protein, the iron, the omegas, the calcium, the vitamin B12. The animals that we consume it from actually go to the plants to get it, and then we go through the animal to get that thing from the plants. It kind of sounds contradictory almost, right? So why not go to the source and get the pure, rawest form possible? That's my way of thinking. So in terms of omega-3s, it's one of those things that people don't realize, that you can easily get omega-3s on a plant-based diet, and some people just don't even know that. They literally go back from a plant-based diet back to animal products because they think that they have to, and it's totally not true. So you can have hemp seed. Hemp seed is one of my favorite things. I throw that in granola. It's just packed with protein and quality omegas. You got flax seed. You can use that in cooking, baking, in your granolas and your cereals. You can use it as a binder instead of using eggs. You have chia seeds. You can use those in your smoothies. You can use them in granola. You can just eat them if you wanted to. So packed full of omegas and protein and all the good stuff. And again, pumpkin seeds and sunflower seeds also have omega-3s. The ratios aren't quite as good as the other ones, but they still have them as well. I soak my pumpkin seeds. I have the big jar of them, and I have them every day with my granola in the morning. So again, remember, you can go straight to the source. You don't have to go through the animal to get these things. You can go right directly to the source. The next thing is your calcium. So again, this is a huge one. I know for a lot of women, osteoporosis in the US for women is one of the highest rates in the world. Yet the US is one of the highest dairy consuming countries in the world too. So you've got to wonder, when they say that calcium in the milk is good for your bones, why then do we suffer with one of the highest osteoporosis rates in the developed world? So I kind of look at that and I think there's something missing there. There's something not right. So what I say is, instead of going through dairy again, which your cows were getting their calcium from green plants they eat, now because they're fed grains and different things like that in these big production lines, they actually need to get their milk fortified with calcium because they're no longer getting it through their food. So the businesses are fortifying the milk with calcium anyway. So you could go get a nut milk that's been fortified with calcium, and it's going to do exactly the same thing for you, but it's not going to have the endocrine disruption that dairy has. When I say endocrine disruption, I'm talking about the hormonal response in terms of, skin breakout. Very often you'll see people who consume dairy have a lot of pimples, bad skin. So that's an endocrine disruptor. So nut milks don't have that, but they have the fortified calcium like the dairy milk. And again, hang on a second. There's a question here. Let me just check that. So let me just jump back to this quickly. Someone was talking about the omega-6s negating the benefits of omega-3s. And that is true. Like, what you want to do is you just want to make sure that you're getting a good ratio of things. So like what I would say to people is figure out where your omega-6s are coming from. Usually they come, and it depends where they come from, but what you want to do is you want to get a good ratio of each. Lauren's just pulling something up now. Let me just, no, don't worry. What you want to do is, it can negate it, but you want to just make sure that you're getting a high ratio of omega-3s. So it's like your go-to nutrients. So omega-3s and omega-6 and 9 is kind of like secondary, and that's something that you don't want to go for as much. So let me jump to the next thing. Sorry guys, I'm jumping all over here because I want to get through these things quickly, and I will try and cover these questions in more detail at the end as well, if the questions weren't answered properly as we're going. And again, like we'll jump back to calcium. So with the calcium, you're going to have foods like kale. So all your green vegetables, kale, broccoli, spinach, even tempeh. So that fermented soy is tempeh. It's great stuff. You're going to have oranges and nut milks. So those things are going to be high in calcium. And again, there's going to be so many more plant-based foods that are high in calcium that you can go through and find those things. And one of the things I want to just talk about with all of these things is don't get too caught up in the detail. Very often what happens with people is they start to worry about, ratios of things and cofactors, how different minerals work synergistically with other ones and things like that, and it can become so confusing, and it becomes almost to the point where there's so much information and there's so many variables you can almost paralyze yourself into inaction. What I often sort of say to people is just start adding good things in. If you don't feel right, get some blood work done, see what you're low in, and then address those things individually with whole foods. So instead of worrying too much about ratios and macros and exact levels of different things, add in the good stuff, keep it simple, and then go from there. So the last aspect that people worry about is going to be your vitamin B12. And again, this is another one. Very often what you'll find is that with a lot of vegans or vegetarians, their B12 may be slightly lower, and that's just plainly because they're not getting in certain things that might help them. So one of them is a nutritional yeast that's been fortified with B12. So I cook with nutritional yeast and make sure that it's been fortified with B12. And it's got a cheesy flavor to it, so you can put it through cooking, anything like that. It's perfect for a lot of different recipes. And I'll throw that in with my meals almost every day. And that's just to get a little bit ahead of that B12, make sure that my levels are optimal, make sure that my energy is balanced. So you want that nutritional yeast with the B12 fortification in there. Or you can get a blue-green algae supplement, because that's essentially, B12 is essentially a bacteria. So blue-green algae is going to have a high level of that B12 within it. So let me jump to the next thing. So essentially, guys, what I'm trying to say here is that you can get anything that whenever someone says to you, but you're going to lack something, you got to remember that you can find a replacement. There's no doubt in my mind that you can find something that you will have an answer on a plant-based diet. You just have to do the research and work out.
What plant milk tastes most like dairy milk?
What plant milk tastes the most like dairy milk? What I would probably say, the one that I've tried most recently is probably the cashew milk. Cashew milk probably tastes the most like dairy milk, I would say. And it depends if you get the unsweetened or the sweetened. The sweetened one's always going to be more kind of creamy. The unsweetened is obviously better nutritional breakdown for you, not as kind of thick and creamy. But what I know Lauren does sometimes is she uses full-fat coconut milk. Her diet is slightly higher in fats than mine, coconut fats. Mine is slightly lower. So what she might do sometimes is she might add in some full-fat coconut milk and add in a little bit of cashew milk as well. And that way you get that kind of creaminess from it. But I would say cashew milk is probably the best one to go for. Let me jump to
Someone asked about heme iron versus non-heme iron. Hey guys, I know we had a question about the heme iron and non-heme iron. That's another one of those things that it's an absorption question, and really you can still absorb non-heme iron that comes from plants. It's just a matter of having other vitamins and minerals in your diet that help that absorption along. And someone pointed out in the chat roll, probably the biggest one that helps the absorption of non-heme iron is going to be your vitamin C. And that it's kind of in line with, people get stressed out about having protein, and they're wondering if they're getting enough protein, and it's really about the amino acids. So there's a lot of different things, and remember that on a plant-based diet, you're getting a ton more vitamins and minerals than someone on a traditional standard American diet. So you're going to have a wide range of foods that your body needs in order to do all the functions that it needs to do. So, like for an example with the protein, just because one package that you may be eating from doesn't list 30 grams of protein on it, if you're eating over the course of a day and over the course of a week, all of the essential amino acids that your body needs, your body is going to be able to utilize that. It stores it, it knows how to, hang on to the amino acids that it needs, and then it uses it as it's needed. And it's kind of the same thing with the non-heme iron. So you don't necessarily have to pair it immediately in the meal, have the iron-based foods with a vitamin C, eating an orange at the same exact time. But as long as through the course of the day, you're getting those foods that are high in those other vitamins that will aid absorption, you'll be just fine as far as absorbing the iron from your plant-based foods.
That was some really good points there. Like that's one of the things that we were getting back to is don't stress out too much about the minutiae and the details, as opposed to just making sure that your diet is as diverse as possible. See, the important thing to remember is that when your diet is diverse, so when you're eating a wide range of fruits, nuts, legumes, green vegetables, plant proteins, all that type of stuff, you're going to be getting enough cofactors. So you're going to be getting enough vitamin C. You're going to be getting enough of those cofactors. Cofactors are basically what help the absorption of other minerals. So when you make sure that your diet is diverse, the cofactors just come into play, and it's going to help with that absorption. And like Lauren was saying, you don't have to eat something at the same time as you're eating that thing to get absorption. Your body's very good at storing different compounds, storing amino acids, storing minerals and vitamins, and then connecting them and bonding them at times when it needs them, when other things come in, and it can make it fit, and it makes it all come together. So that's one of the things that's important to remember when people talk about incomplete plant proteins, saying that they're not complete. That doesn't matter, because you've over a period of days and a week, if you eat enough diverse different foods, your body's going to take the amino acids from different things, and it's going to connect them together, and that's how you're going to build muscle. That's how I've done it. That's how I've seen other guys do it in our group. That's how I know that this works. So let's jump to this next thing. And again, if you have any questions, keep firing them in there, and we'll go through them as we go, because I know that, and there's some awesome people in the chat roll. I can see there's some knowledgeable people on as well, so it's great. So what a Plant Strong day of eating looks like. Now, everyone's going to be different. You're going to have people who are either raw, or people who are, 80-10-10, essentially high carbohydrate, lots and lots of fruit. You're going to have people, junk food vegans, the ones that just eat lots and lots of processed stuff. There's nothing wrong with any of those things, because what you want to remember is that's all in the context of that person's journey. So that person is starting from somewhere, and they can always have room to progress and evolve. So in terms of what we've found has helped us the most in terms of sound nutrition, diverse nutrition, getting a full range of cofactors, amino acids, vitamins, minerals, every type of thing you need to produce good, clean neurotransmission in your brain, better sleep, all those types of things, better fat loss, better muscle building. This is what you see here. So there's a little strategy to this, and I haven't really talked about it in our group as much because I know that when I have to write these things down, it takes a long time to get it out. So essentially what you see here is you see everything kind of revolves around post-workout. So post-workout breakfast, meal 2, meal 3, meal 4. That's basically the structure of everything. So it depends when you work out during the day, but for me, it's first thing in the morning. So all my nutrition revolves around that time I work out. And I found that when you can synergize your workout with what you eat, that's when the magic happens. That's when you burn fat quicker. That's when you build more muscle. That's when your focus goes up, your sleeping improves, because your body isn't this closed loop that just works independently of the workout with the nutrition. Everything works in tandem. Everything is synergistic. So you have to understand that you have to complement all these things together. So very often what you'll see is that with a post-workout breakfast, you're going to have liquid meals first. So you can see the greens drinks at the top there. Might be protein shakes, smoothies, even banana ice cream. So lots of easily digestible foods first thing, and usually even more raw foods earlier on in the morning. And as we go around, you'll see different things here. These are just some typical examples of what we might eat during the day, and it's basically to nail home the idea that this food is really diverse, that it's really unrestrictive, and that it tastes friggin' amazing. It really does. The cooking time is minimal because, the best thing about the plant-based foods is that you don't have to cook bacteria and E. coli and diseases out of them like you do with animal proteins. These things have so much bacteria in them that you need to cook these things just to make sure you don't get sick. So with plant-based stuff, the cooking time is way down. I mean, a lot of stuff you can just eat raw. Cooking time for a lot of these things is literally 3 or 4 minutes at the most, because you don't have to cook any stuff out of it. It's already essentially ready to go. So that's the best part I found with the plant-based diet. So here is some examples.
Before you go on, someone was asking about supplements like BCAAs.
So someone was asking about a supplementation like branched chain amino acids. Now, what you'll find, just for those of you that don't know, with branched chain amino acids supplementation, what it is amino acids are basically what comes from protein. So you eat protein, that converts into amino acids, and then your body takes those amino acids and starts the building blocks for creating muscle. Now, what I use is, and I've just started using this recently, was this product called Clean Machine Amino Acids. It's a completely plant-based vegan amino acid. Normally what you'll find with most amino acids is that they're made from things like duck feathers. They're made from animal products, essentially. And I found that, aligning myself with Plant Strong means that I want to support those businesses that focus on things that I'm aligned with. I want to consume things that come from whole sources. And with the amino acids, I take them while I work out. So I train on an empty stomach. It's called fasted training, and we'll talk about that as we come up into our training strategy. But I drink amino acids while I'm working out. So I'll have 1 serving of those. And these amino acids that I use, these Clean Machine amino acids, come with coconut electrolytes. So these electrolytes help replenish a lot of those lost electrolytes while you're sweating. But I think that in terms of building muscle, if you're in a fasted state, I do think amino acids can help. Now, do I think they're absolutely necessary? No, I don't think they're absolutely necessary. I don't think any supplements are absolutely necessary, but it depends what your goal is. If you're really adamant and you really want to put on it and you want to maximize as much muscle, capacity as possible, I do think it personally helps. But I have seen a lot of guys look amazing and they don't use it. So I'm not saying that you absolutely need it, but I'm saying that it can help. And it can help act as a buffer while you're working out to prevent your body burning through muscle as an energy source. So especially if you're in a fasted state, using amino acids can help buffer that muscle breakdown in a negative way. Your body will burn the amino acids that you supplement instead. So that's what I do essentially. I hope that helps. But yes, I think amino acids do play a role, and they do have a place. So Plant Strong made simple. Here is just some stupidly easy recipes that are really good, so delicious that you could literally make in a few minutes. I'll go through the first ones I made first, and then I'll get you, Lauren, to give you a little rundown on this one. So I had the banana nice cream in the middle there. That stuff, I mean, you guys have seen me post that so much in the group, and if you're not in the group, you have to get in there and check these things out. I post these things in there all the time. But I mean, I'd never tried this till I went Plant Strong, and I realized how much I was missing out on something when I tried this. I have had no cravings or desire to eat junk food after having this. I'm serious. Like, I used to get cravings all the time on my old diet. I would always want to eat junk food. Like, I was always fighting myself, like struggling with myself to not eat crap. Now on this, like, I tell you, like, this hits the sweet tooth in a good way, in a clean fuel kind of way. The banana and ice cream, it's literally a couple of frozen bananas, a tablespoon of almond butter, a couple of tablespoons of cashew milk or any type of nut milk you want. I put in a little bit of cocoa or cacao powder in this one and blend it up. Frozen bananas, and that's pretty much what it is. So if you use this post-workout, this would be ideal because your body is going to need sugar after you work out. So bananas, some dates. Dates are an amazing glucose sort of absorbing type of sugar that's going to be perfect for a post-workout food. So I throw some dates in there. I throw some berries in there for antioxidants, to get, you know, that antioxidant effect after you've just really broken down the muscle and you've got a lot of oxidative stress in your system. So that type of thing literally takes me 5 minutes to make. And it's amazing. I mean, it's so good. What I want you to realize is that these things do not take a lot of time, and they're cheap. Right now, you know, you can get bananas 50, 60, 70 cents a pound, depending on where you are. And obviously, if you shop smart, you can get them at really good prices, and they're really good for you as well. The other part is the chicken wraps that I make. And now these are mock chicken. So these are Beyond, a product called Beyond Meat, and they're chickenless strips. Now, I don't use this type of thing all the time, but what I'm trying to show you is that if you're someone who likes that meaty texture or needs that kind of meat analog, and you still want to get sound nutrition, Beyond Meat is probably one of the better mock meat plant-based companies I've found. A lot of their products are pea protein, so they're texturized pea protein. The other ones are non-GMO organic soy. And these ones are like little chicken strips, so you can cut those up. I threw them in some romaine with some asparagus, a little bit of coconut aminos, and it was done. Literally, the chicken strips can cook in about 5 or 6 minutes, and they're done. There's no worrying about getting salmonella or anything like that. Now, that may not be your thing, so you could replace it with tempeh, you could replace it with tofu, you could replace it with a bit of quinoa, some black beans, some white beans, whatever you can think of you can replace it with. You can get creative with this stuff. So here's Lauren with her smoothie.
Hey guys, just real quick, I'm going to run through that. And that's not any particular smoothie recipe there. But it's just, yeah, it's just an everyday smoothie for me. I do tend to drink a lot of my meals. I don't know, I just like it that way. It's easier for me to consume. I want to make sure that I'm eating enough calories and getting enough nutrition. It would be really hard for me to sit down and eat a big like plate full of spinach and have a bunch of fruit. But if I can just blend it all up in my NutriBullet that I use and drink it down, it's so much easier. Plus, I don't have to sit because I'm working a lot. We've been working a ton on this Plant Strong stuff for you guys. So I can literally blend up a smoothie and get all those nutrients and good whole foods in there. But that way I can just sit there, while I'm working even and be drinking that, and I don't have to like have a big elaborate meal. I don't have to take a lot of cooking time. And something like this that I would make, I just throw in, usually I do greens and fruit. It's very rare that I will do a fruit only smoothie. I will always add in either, a handful or two of baby spinach or some raw kale. And then even parsley I add into my smoothies. And then I put in less fruit even. So, I might do a frozen banana, or I'll throw in some mango chunks. And I will typically do like half and half water and milk. I just find that having the water, extra water in the smoothie is good for hydration, but then the milk is really good too because it has its own vitamins. Even if you're using like the cartoned milks, it's gonna be fortified with a lot of vitamins and minerals that way too. I typically, like Fraser mentioned, use a lot of coconut. So I use coconut milk a lot of times in my smoothies. And I saw someone in the chat roll was asking about, does anyone else get sick eating a lot of coconut products? I pretty much live off the stuff. And the only thing that could come to mind as far as might be making you feel funny if you eat a lot of coconut would be the medium chain triglycerides that are in the coconut. For those of you who have done other programs with us before and used MCT oil, you know that if you take too much MCTs and your body's not accustomed to it, it will make you go to the bathroom and it will kind of throw your stomach off. So maybe that's, what it is. It may be something as simple as that, and just easing into it will make it better for you. All right, so now we're going to move on to how to exercise Plant Strong style. And we've got a couple of pictures here. You can see us training hard at the gym. Fraser's doing his squats. I'm doing kind of a lunge combo here. We do big compound movements. You won't see us doing a whole lot of bicep curls with 2 minutes of rest in between. We do big movements. We move a lot of weight. We take short rest periods. We're always supersetting and drop setting. So for example, what does that mean? Superset means you're going to be doing 2 or more exercises back to back without any rest in between. So we might go from doing a squat like you see Fraser doing there, and then as soon as you put the bar down, you go and do some jump squats. Or maybe you're going to go superset a squat with a hamstring curl. So you're working kind of more the front of the legs and the glutes, and then you're working the back of the legs with the hamstrings. And you're just cranking them out real quickly back to back, keeping the heart rate up, and that's really going to fuel both your muscle building because it stimulates your growth hormone and your fat burning as well. And then drop sets is something that we utilize a lot as well. And that's when you're going to start with a higher weight, do as many reps as you can, then you drop the weight down without resting in between, and you're going to keep going. And you can drop the weight down as many times as you want. It could be basically like 4 or 5 sets that you're doing all back to back. And what that allows you to do is it allows you to push yourself harder. Because a traditional straight set, you might, squat 100 pounds and then you stop. You do it 10 reps, you stop and you rest for a minute. Then you go do 10 more reps at the same weight. But with a drop set, maybe you challenge yourself to 150 pounds and you do that for 4 reps. Then you drop the weight back to 100 pounds and you do another 8 to 10 reps. Then you drop the weight down to 50 and you keep going, do 15 reps. So it's going to allow you to get out a lot more volume and do a lot more work, which is going to, in turn, give you a lot more results. Now I'm going to pass it on over to Fraser now, see if he has anything to add to that.
Yeah, she explained it really well. I mean, there's nothing wrong with doing, bicep curls and stuff, but what you want to do, and what I do is I start with a compound movement and then I go to isolations. So I know that sounds like a lot of jargon to people, but an example would be say for example, if I was working out my back, I would do biceps on the same day, and I might do like a lat pull down or a chin up with a bicep curl, and I'd superset those 2. So the take-home message when it comes to training, especially in the gym, if you want to get ultimate fat loss and muscle building, is lots of big compound movements. So squats, deadlifts, lunges, bench press, chin-ups, pull downs, bend over rows, shoulder pressing. Lots of big compound movements as opposed to lots of ab crunches and bicep curls and things like that. Keep your rest periods really, really short. Just enough to get your heart rate down, but don't rest too long. Lots of drop sets and lots of supersets. That's how I train every time. I found that it's enabled me to get down to single-digit body fat without doing any type of traditional cardio and still maintain a lot of muscle mass and strength. For me, this is like the pinnacle. This is like the sweet spot of how I train, and I know that it works for a lot of other people that we've helped suggest this to as well. When it comes to timing your food, this is one thing that I love and we really focus on a lot with Plant Strong, and just the way that we live and eat as well, is that we don't just want to eat these things. We want to know when to consume them as well. It's important to understand that depending on your hormonal situation and where you are during the day with your workout and things like that, different foods are going to react differently in your body different times of the day, over a period of the week. I'll give you an example here: pre, intra, and post workout. So this is what I do. So you could use this model and apply it to yourself, and this will help you a lot. So pre-workout, I train fasted, like I said. Sometimes not sometimes, all the time, I'll have a huge big glass of lemon water. I have been using a little bit of black coffee because I know that's the one thing that I'm trying to move away from. So what I started using now is a little bit of yerba mate instead, or tea, green tea instead, just to give me some kind of caffeine in the morning. And that's one thing that I'm working on moving away from. It's just so I can get to the point where I'm just using lemon water first thing, completely fasted state, then into intra-workout, which is during the workout, coconut water, amino acids if you want to, but coconut water is a great thing to have while you're working out to keep up your electrolytes, to make sure that your performance doesn't go down. So when your performance goes down, your output goes down, and your fat burning essentially goes down as well. Post-workout is when you want to be absorbing lots of liquids, so smoothies, protein shakes, green juices, because your body is in a state of repair, or it's essentially trying to recover from the workout. And you don't want all the blood from your muscles that's helping heal those muscles and repair them to go to your digestion to break down a big, heavy meal. So what you do want to do is you want lots of fast-absorbing nutrients. Fast-absorbing nutrients is liquids. So smoothies, protein shakes, green juices. You want those things first to get some good nutrients in first, so then you can fuel your muscles and you fuel that recovery. That's how I do it. That's how I found it works perfectly in terms of being synergistic with your training, synergistic with your goal, and making sure that you don't get that lethargy and that brain fog that comes with a heavy meal. So I hope that makes sense, guys. Again, if you have any questions, any recommendations?
At the end.
Okay, yeah, we'll cover the questions at the end, guys, so we can get through all this stuff because I know we're going for a long time. So Plant Strong people changing the world, becoming a walking, breathing billboard. Here's some examples of Plant Strong people. So here's myself, there's Lauren, there's my friend Mujin. He was one of the people who really helped inspire me to make the shift. And he's 51 years old. And I mean, he looks phenomenal, and he has been vegan, Plant Strong vegan for years. And, again, these people here have been vegan for 5 to 15 years, and they still hold a lot of muscle and they look great. And you've got to remember that, they're putting those misconceptions to bed, showing you that you can do this. And the best way to do it is to become a billboard for this way of life. So for a lot of vegans out there and a lot of Plant Strong people, they're wondering, how can I impact the world in a more positive way? How can I help people see the benefits of changing to this lifestyle and eating this way and feeling this way? We'll start living and being a breathing example of that. Show people how good you can look. Show people how good the food is. Show people how positive and happy and inspiring you are. And when you look good and when you're positive and inspiring and happy and you have amazing food and you have a stress-free life, people want that. And everyone wants to change. There's no doubt in my mind that everyone wants to change. They just need the right environment, they need the right tools, and they need the right inspiration. And once you have those things, people will grow and they will change. But until you help them, give them tools and strategies, until you show them how to cook, or show them how to work out, or show them how to lose some body fat, or show them how to de-stress a little bit, they're not going to be able to take on any new stuff. They're not going to be able to take on any new way of eating or any new big endeavors like changing their entire lifestyle to Plant Strong, because they have so much stress in their lives. The last thing they can think of doing is changing all those things. So it's important to understand that when you become a walking, breathing billboard, that you speak for that. Your actions speak through that. And again, here's another guy on the far left, Jeff. He's been Plant Strong vegan for 30 years. 30 years. And he's got more muscle than most, 50-something year olds I've seen. Luke Corona, he's in his 60s. So not only is it just about muscle building, but it's about preservation and age and youthfulness. So these people, and here's some vegan fitness women. So again, like, you know, fat loss, anti-aging, muscle building, whatever your thing is, tie it in with being that breathing billboard. You know, really live a positive, happy, beautiful life, and people will want to know what you're doing, and you'll have such a better impact when it comes to your message, like when it comes to sharing that thing that you're passionate about, whether it be the environment or animals or nutrition or just making people happy or whatever it is. You will have a much larger impact when you personify what those people want, when you can manifest and be that walking, breathing billboard. So that's what I want to hit home with you guys. Make you realize that it's not just me and Lauren here, that there's lots of other people out there that have done this way before us, that are way more experienced than us, that look amazing. And that goes to show that it's all across the board, and what any sort of type of goal that you have. And here is our boy Tim. He's in Plant Strong Fitness, and he's been the prototype for our program. So we pretty much took him under our wing. I've been coaching him, and I said to him, look, I want you to do X, Y, Z. I want you to train a certain way with the drop sets and all these different methods that I talked about. I want you to eat a certain way, and I want you to time your meals at certain times around your workouts, etc., etc. And he went down. I think he was about 15 or 16% body fat. He got down below 10% body fat now. You can see his body's changed. Like, he went from being sort of a pyramid shape where he's narrow at the top, more weight through the middle, and now his top is widening out and his bottom is narrowing down. And I mean, he's got so much stronger. Even one of our friends, Valerie, shout out to Valerie, she even said that on an interview she could see how much clearer his skin looked, how much brighter his eyes looked. So it's not just about muscle and fat, guys. It's about your skin health, your hair health, your eye health. All those things change dramatically when you really adopt this lifestyle. And we've had that same compliments as well. When we've gone into the gym, I've had people in the gym say to Lauren and myself, like, about things about our skin and stuff that I never really noticed, because you don't notice these changes on a daily basis until someone says them, because they haven't seen you for a while, and you're like, wow, like, it must be changing, you know? So there is something to this, and that's what it's really important to remember.
Yeah, so good job to the Timinator. You look awesome, Tim. So now we're just going to move on to the special offer that we have for you guys tonight. So for those of you who have heard all of this information, you're taking all this in, and now you're ready to take it to the next level. We are, like I said earlier, unleashing the program for the first time tonight. And we've got 5 amazing bonuses for those of you who sign up today. But first, let us show you exactly what you're going to get, just the base of the program when you join Plant Strong Elite. First off, you're going to get this awesome membership portal. This is my baby that I've been working so hard on. We've got tons of content in this membership portal for you guys. You can see all the tabs across the top. You've got a what's new section to keep you updated on all the new content that goes in, a weekly plan that's going to give you exactly every single day what you're doing every single week. If you have questions about what to eat when, how to train, all of that is given to you laid out in a weekly plan. You've got a library of all the workouts. You've got a library of all the recipes for you. You've got lifestyle tips and articles. You've got a library of all of our favorite things. So for those of you who are asking about, you know, certain types of vegan foods, whether it be milks or cheeses, transitioning foods, meat substitutes, all that's listed in our favorite things section. We've got a tips section that is categorized into different tips, like different styles of tips, whether it be cooking tips or tips for eating out, social eating, all kinds of different categories. We've put that in there for you as well. And you've also got mindset. So we've got tons of articles in there for you on mindset. That's a huge part of making any change. We've got the Plant Strong Garden section in there that Valerie is contributing to teaching all of us how to have our own Plant Strong garden. So if you're interested in growing any of your own herbs, fruits, vegetables, we've got tons of information on that in there as well. Plus, we're going to be adding plugins as we go along that will be specific for muscle building or specific to fat loss. We're going to add plugins that are specific to different goals.
Yeah, so essentially, I'm actually taking my own training routine, and that's going to be the plugin for muscle building. So everything that I do is they're going to be plugged into that site. So you can get additional plugins depending on if your goal is muscle building, if your goal is fat loss. So there's going to be different aspects that you can get additional that will cater to your specific goal as well.
So Plant Strong Elite, and this is basically what I just covered. So it showed you the meal plans. You're going to get weekly meal plans with delicious, filling, healthy meals to help you burn fat and build muscle without feeling starved. This includes our sought after recipe book and grocery list. So it's even going to have corresponding shopping lists to go with your meal plan for the week. It makes everything super easy for you. You've got your weekly training schedule that's going to lay out exactly what workouts we recommend every day. It gives you pictures and videos and printable sheets that you can take with you to the gym or on your home workout or while you're traveling. Makes it super easy for you to always know what you're doing and to feel confident in your training. You've got in the recipes pre-workout, post-workout recipes. We're going to be labeling the recipes for when each one is best used. So for example, the low carb, fat, etc. We're going to show you which recipes are good for each one of those situations. And we're offering you discounts. We've paired up with several companies already that are going to give our Plant Strong Elite members discounts on their favorite vegan products, including meat replacements, supplements, and more products.
Yeah, back to me. I'm the star of the show, damn it. Yeah, and essentially, like Lauren was saying, discounts. So we've paired up with a whole bunch of different people that are going to help us out. We're going to help them out so we can get you cheaper, more discounted stuff. So pretty much what we're covering in here is everything. You get menu boards, training programs, the different plugins, the recipe category. You've seen the stuff that we make, and it's going to be categorized around pre, post workout, high carb days, low carb days. And it's all going to make sense when you see the meal plan. So it's taking the guesswork out of these things. So you just know, okay, I have to have this thing at this time. I have to train this way at this time. And it's all just going to work out perfectly. And you're going to see the results like Tim, like we have. I can guarantee you that. But then additionally, on top of that, we're going to be putting out lots of weekly videos in this membership site. I post like the odd little one in the group, but they're very minimal. They're very short. We're going to put out far more detailed ones with recipes, ideas, concepts, training stuff. So you're going to get video content in there as well. Far more access to video content than if you were just in the group. And new weekly recipes. So obviously, cooking is our passion. We love this stuff. This is one thing that I just love to do. We're going to create a recipe book, but in the meantime, what we're going to do is we're going to be creating those new recipes. And the good thing about these recipes is that we take recipes from different websites that may not necessarily be inherently that healthy, and we modify the nutrients in them to make them fit the goal. So we take out certain things that we know are a little bit detrimental to the health and the fat loss and the muscle building and just the overall wellness of you. And what we'll do is we'll take those things out. We'll put different things in. So you're still getting the same recipes. You're still getting the good stuff. You're just getting macronutrients and micronutrients that's perfect for your goal. And again, if you're busy, Lauren's the master of this. She's really good at coming up with short, really explosive, awesome workouts in a short amount of time. So it's not like you have to get into the gym for 2 hours and pound it out on the squat rack. If you're in a position where you don't have a lot of time, it doesn't matter. All you need is 10 minutes. You could seriously get in an epic workout in 10 minutes down with what Lauren has here.
All right, so now let's go through the bonuses that you guys are going to get, and we're going to get through this quickly. So this is just for the people who are still live on the webinar tonight. We're not going to offer these bonuses ever again. So the first bonus you're going to get, for those of you who sign up tonight, is going to be a free 30-minute one-on-one consultation with myself or Fraser to help you jumpstart on your plan. So we're going to get on a phone, either a phone call or a Skype call if you're international. And, we're going to just talk with you for 30 minutes. We're going to get clear on what your goals are, where you're starting from, and we're going to work through any hormone related issues. We're going to work through lifestyle issues that you have. I know someone was posting in the chat roll earlier about working night shifts, anything like that you want to customize your plan with. We can work through that with you on this 30-minute one-on-one phone call. Bonus number 2 is going to be a customized workout plan based on your specific goals, health issues, or dietary restrictions. So this is a really cool bonus that we've thrown in here tonight. And basically what we're going to do is when we talk to you on that phone call, we'll find out what your specific goal is or whatever it may be. If it's a health issue that you want to work on or a specific area of your body that you want to target, maybe, for the ladies, you want to get a nice round booty. Maybe for the guys, you might want to be building some muscle. You're going to tell us what you specifically really want to work on, and we're going to create a custom workout just for you. Bonus number 3 is an exclusive Plant Strong t-shirt. I know that the people in our Plant Strong group have been clamoring for some apparel, and we have it coming. The first members who sign up from tonight's webinar are going to get an exclusive t-shirt. So not only are you going to get the first t-shirt, but it's going to be exclusive to the charter members that sign up in this initial round. And then bonus number 4, we've got a discount pack from our friends over at Beyond Meat. That's our favorite meat replacement, meat substitute. You see us using the crumbles all the time in our recipes. Fraser pointed out the chicken strips that they have earlier. And they've given us some discount packs, including coupons and free products that each person who signs up tonight is going to get that Beyond Meat package as well. And there's one more bonus, but before we get to it, how much is Plant Strong Elite? After this webinar, the Plant Strong Elite membership without all of these bonuses is going to cost $100 a month. It's a great price considering everything that comes with it, so much cheaper than having a personal trainer that you have to pay regularly. But tonight, if you buy before this webinar ends, you're only going to pay $59 a month. That saves you $492 a year. So that's a huge saving. And we're never going to raise your price. Like I mentioned with the t-shirts, you guys are going to be the charter members, the first in. And as our gift to you, we're never going to raise your price. So as long as you stay a member in Plant Strong Elite, you're only going to ever have to pay that $59 a month. So as our prices go up, you're going to stay there. Plus, you're going to get all the bonuses that I just talked about tonight that we're not offering. If people see this replay, they're not going to be able to get those bonuses. That's only the live offer tonight. So let's just recap. The $59 a month that's offered tonight is going to get you those meal plans every single week, your training schedule every single week, all of our recipes categorized in a library for you to access all the time. Remember, it comes with a shopping list as well. So for each week's meal plan, you're going to have an easy shopping list to take with you. Discounts on your favorite products. We've got discounted links in the membership site with our favorite things. You get those discounts as well. Plus, we've got discounts that are offered from our friends at Beyond Meat, like I mentioned, as a bonus. And we've also got discounts, some special offers coming from our friends at veganessentials.com as well. You've got weekly video lessons that are coming to you, and that's going to be new content every week. So it's things that we can get feedback from you guys that you want to learn. We're going to put out those weekly video lessons for you. And new recipes every single week. We're constantly in the kitchen. We're constantly creating. We have to eat too. We like to experiment. And plus, we want to give you guys what you need as far as recipes go. And workout plans for busy people. This is one of my favorite things that I've created in this plan is called a 10-minute trainer. It's a special workout. We have different categories of workouts, and for this one, it's customizable. So if you only have 10 minutes, you can do that 10-minute trainer. And if you want to repeat, it's a one cycle workout. If you want to repeat it up to 6 times, that'll give you an hour workout. If you only have 30 minutes, you do it 3 times through. So it's perfectly customizable for busy people. All right, so we've come to the end of the webinar tonight. You guys do not click the button below. Let me just say that first of all, because that is going to give you the regular $100 a month membership price. If you're on live tonight, go to webinarbonus.plantstrongfitness.com. Type that into your browser bar. That's going to give you the special $59 discount price that we're offering tonight, plus all of the bonuses. Yeah, and that's just live on this webinar tonight. So anyone who's watching the recording, you guys will not have access to the bonuses and the discount. So that's why the button is different than this webinar bonus link that we have for you guys tonight. Use the webinarbonus.plantstrongfitness.com. And Tim has just popped that into the chat box for us too. Thank you, Tim, to make that easy for you guys. And then after this webinar ends tonight, the price is going to go back up to $100 a month, and all of those bonuses are going to be gone. So now that we've hit the end, remember, I'll just recap one more time. The meal plans, training schedules, the recipes, all the discounts from our partnership companies, weekly video lessons, new recipes every single week, those busy people workout plans, plus the 5 bonuses that are only offered on tonight's live webinar. So the one-on-one phone consultation, and you can choose if you'd like to do that with myself or with Fraser. So if anyone has a preference, we don't get offended. Don't worry about that. Custom workout plan. So remember, you can tell us whether it's a specific goal you have, a specific body part you want to work on. We're going to create a custom workout just for you. And the exclusive t-shirt, you'll get that as well. You're going to be the first people to have any Plant Strong apparel, and it's going to be especially noted on your t-shirt. You're going to be the charter member. It's an exclusive t-shirt that not anyone else will not have. The free Beyond Meat package, again, that's definitely, you know, something that is a really cool bonus, and it's only for those offered tonight that our friends at Beyond Meat offered to give to the charter members. And remember, you lock in that discounted membership for life. So when you sign up tonight, you're getting the biggest and best deal on the Plant Strong Fitness membership site. And you're going to lock that in. So your price is never going to go up to that $100. You get locked in. All right, so I just want to congratulate. I'm seeing some charter members coming in now. I know we've got Samantha Mitchell. Congratulations. Shane Johnston, awesome. We're excited to have you. Fraser's phone is locked out, so I can't see all the other names. But as they're rolling in, congratulations to all of you guys. And we're really Brent. So we're excited to have you guys on as charter members. I know Fraser wants to say a few things. And then we're also going to get to the questions that we held out onto the end.
Yeah, guys, so if just get those numbers in there. Let's get this done, and then we have some questions. Catherine, nice one. Awesome. You guys are awesome. I'm glad that you guys are making this step, because, you know, this is our passion. You know, we are so dedicated to this. Gabriella, awesome. You know, we're so dedicated to making this happen. You've seen how much time and energy we invest into the group, and that's still going to remain the same. You know, the group's not going to change. Everything about that is going to be exactly the same. But what I want you to realize is that as we evolve through this journey, you will too. And the cool thing about Plant Strong is that it's... Oh, who? Maribel Vargas, nice. More people come in. Wow, this is crazy.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah. One of the cool things about Plant Strong Fitness is that it's not just going to be a high carb model or a high fat model, or, you know, you get 80-10-10, or you get the starch solution, or you get these different sort of plant-based models that just fit one person. What we want to show people is that you can have different models and you can find the one that fits for you. So you may do well on a high carb, high fruit diet. You may do better on a high fat, more coconut diet. So what we do is we give you those different options, help you refine it, because that's pretty much what we had to do. When I started getting into this, I didn't really know what to eat. I didn't know how it was going to work. And people were telling me, you know, do this model, do that model, do this model. model. And I'm thinking, why do I have to do that specific model? What is it with that one thing? Like, is it going to work for everyone? And one of the things I have noticed is that it doesn't always work for everyone. Sometimes one thing that's good for someone is not going to be ideal for someone else. So we always keep that in mind when we're creating menu boards and meal plans and recipes and in training and stuff like that. We always get back to the person's context. And again, you're going to have that close connection with us. We are essentially hormonal experts in that sense, that we understand the body on a hormonal level. So it's not just about veganism or a plant-based eating. It's about helping you with your hormones, helping you optimize your life so you can become that walking billboard and you can share the message that you want to share. So that's why I encourage people to do this. Whatever your motive is, that's your way of being able to share more and promote this. So we've got some
Jason
questions.
Warshower.
Oh, nice, Jason. Awesome.
TLC Pet Service.
TLC Pet Service.
Holla to the pet people.
Nice. Awesome, guys. So do we have any questions?
Do we have an Instagram account? Yes, we do.
Yeah, our Instagram account is Plant Strong Fit. We've just started it. We've just been posting some food pictures in there at the moment.
Patrick Onifer, welcome.
Patrick Onifer, nice, guys. Keep them rolling.
Kathy
And
Santolo, welcome.
you guys are going to love this. Like, I can tell you now that this type of system is really going to be unique. And it's going to be unique in the sense that we're going to be fitness orientated, health orientated, yet we're going to have a big impact. So we understand that a lot of you out there do this for ethical reasons as well, and we understand that. That's one of our motives. The ethical, the spiritual side, the environmental side, we tie it all together. But when you can get healthy and you can feel good, you're in a much better position to share your message. So again, guys, if you have any questions about protein or soy or nutrients or nutrient timing or different foods you were wondering about or anything that you're concerned about, feel free to type in the chat roll box and we'll answer those things. I'm more than happy to hang around till everyone feels like they have their questions answered and they feel like they left tonight feeling a little bit more confident about the direction they're heading in than when they came in.
Someone asked earlier about foods that increase testosterone.
So someone asked earlier about plant foods that increase testosterone. So healthy fats. So essentially what you're going to find is that certain foods, when you eat them, they're going to play with your sex hormone levels. So some foods are going to increase testosterone. Some things and some foods are going to increase testosterone. Some will decrease. Some might increase estrogen, different things like that. In terms of increasing testosterone, the things that I would say, the fundamental three things I would say would be healthy plant-based fats. So you're going to have your coconut products, your avocado, your nuts. So make sure that you do get some fats in your diet, especially if you're a male and you want to increase testosterone for muscle building purposes. Some fats are good. I mean, I don't consume as much fat as Lauren does. I probably consume as much, but in terms of the ratios of how much I consume, it's less than what she does. But I consume that for that purpose. Beyond that, I would just say heavy weight training. Yeah, heavy weight training, better sleep, and stress management. Now, I know stress management's the last thing people want to hear because they're like, oh, God, that means I have to go and meditate and find a Zen monk. But basically what it means is that you just need to figure out ways to bring down control your nervous system more, bring down your sympathetic nervous system more. And I've done a lot of that stuff because I know that that's one thing that I've had to overcome in my life, coming from, a lot of depression, a lot of mental illness, a lot of struggle, is that I had to work on stress management. Otherwise, it would have eaten me alive. So in terms of increasing testosterone, it's not just foods. It's not just your plant-based proteins or your plant-based fats, but it's going to be stress management. Sleep is fundamental as well, and weight training. So I would say those are going to be your pillars for testosterone, optimal testosterone. You guys got any other questions there or anything? And Kurt is in there as well. Kathy, Eba's Made Easy. You guys are awesome. Man, we're getting a bunch of you guys come in, and you guys are the first people into the program. So I want you to realize that other than Tim being our prototype Plant Strong Terminator, the Terminator, pardon the corny pun, he's basically shown you what can be done, and now you guys are the founding members, you know, and I'm really excited about that because for me, I feel like I can look back at my life the first time in my life and feel like this is my purpose. Like promoting a plant strong vegan lifestyle and diet, this really is my purpose. It's a higher purpose. I feel like it's just the amazing feeling that you can get from this diet and this lifestyle. It's unbelievable.
Someone asked, as a marathoner, how does running 10 or more miles affect your muscles from lifting? Can you do both?
So someone said, as a marathon runner, so just this is a common question. So as a marathon runner, or just to think of someone who does a lot of cardiovascular stuff, marathon runner or a triathlete or whatever it may be, affect your muscles from lifting. Can you do both? You can absolutely do both. You just need to make sure that you're fueling your recovery properly. When I say recovery, what I mean is you're eating enough, you're getting enough of the right foods, and you're sleeping enough. So what I would say is that if you're doing some training for like marathons and you're running every day, and you also want to lift as well, you need to make sure that you're getting enough food in first, because very often what you'll find is that if you start hitting a wall where you start feeling mentally fatigued, depressed, you start getting disrupted sleep, you feel kind of achy and just not very good, that's a sign that your nervous system is taking a bit of a beating. So what you need to do to combat that is make sure you eat enough food, make sure you're getting enough quality proteins, the tempeh, the tofu, all the things I talked about, the quinoa, the couscous. Make sure you're getting enough healthy fats, hemp seed, chia seed, coconut products, all those things, and you're getting enough carbohydrates as well. So you want lots of fruit, the banana ice creams, you want fruit smoothies, you want sweet potatoes, Japanese sweet potatoes, you want your different, you can even get like edamame and mung bean pastas. They're good as well. You can get different types of rices, all those things. So you want to make sure that more than anything, you're eating enough food to handle the workload, and you're also sleeping enough. Very often, if you don't sleep enough, your body's not going to have a chance to recover properly, and you will start to struggle. So I would say you can absolutely do marathon running and lift heavy and hard as long as you eat enough and sleep enough.
Welcome, Michelle Eccles.
Welcome, Michelle Eccles
And Emily.
and Emily Williams. You guys are awesome.
Where do you stand on bulking versus cutting? What changes, or do you do two separate phases?
Where do I stand on bulking versus cutting, and what changes, or do you do the two in separate phases? So bulking and cutting, for those of you that don't know what bulking and cutting is, essentially bulking is where you add in extra calories with the intention of trying to build muscle. And cutting is where you restrict calories, or you increase your workload. So obviously you increase how much exercise you do, and you restrict calories, or one of the two, to decrease your body fat. So usually what you'll find is that with bodybuilding and fitness people, they'll have an on season and an off season. And this is just with people in general. For most part, they don't even realize they're doing it. People are seasonal. They'll bulk through fall and winter, where they just eat in excess and they gain fat. And then through spring and summer, they'll cut, where they're trying to get leaner for their summer vacation. They won't realize it's bulking and cutting, but that's essentially what it is. It's just not planned. But with bulking and cutting, what I would say is that on a plant-based diet, you don't necessarily need to bulk and put on a lot of body fat. That's one of the mistakes I've made in the past, where I would think, right, I'm going to bulk and I'm just going to eat as much food as possible and really try and pack on some muscle. And what I found was that the more I ate and the fatter that I got, the worse I felt. It started to affect my psychology, like my neurotransmitter production. I started feeling more lethargic. I started feeling more like tired, and just I wasn't feeling as good as when I was kind of in an optimal state. What I would say is, if you want to build muscle, just make sure that you're a few hundred calories over your maintenance level, and gauge it. So if you say, for example, if you're eating 2,000 calories a day as your maintenance, and you go up to 2,500 and you start putting on lots of fat, you know you probably need to go down to like 2,300. or 2,200, somewhere in between. You don't need to add a lot of calories in to build muscle, but what I would say is one of the strategies that I use, and that's going to be in this program and on this website, is what I call is calorie and carbohydrate cycling. So there's going to be days where I'm eating less than what my metabolism should be having, and they're usually going to be days where I don't work out, or days where I train like a really small muscle group. On days where I train really big muscle groups like legs or back, I'll have maybe 500 calories or 1,000 calories over, and I call it like a refeed. So essentially what I do is my intake changes. So what I want you to realize is that when it comes to bulking and cutting, you can manipulate how much food you eat in on a daily basis to achieve more muscle building without the extra fat gain. And that's what we kind of talk about. That's what we kind of teach in this program and on this site. So what I would say to you is that add in little bits of calories at a time. Add in enough that you're above your maintenance level, that you're slowly putting on a little bit of weight. Be okay with a little bit of fat gain. And it can be very marginal. It doesn't have to be 10 or 15 pounds. Be okay with 5 pounds of fat gain. That's going to come off when you cut. It absolutely come off. So understand that that's part of that's part of the deal. So add in more calories. Add in maybe 100 calories every week. It could be an extra banana every week for a month or two straight. And then when it comes to cut, do the same. Start to reverse back down gradually again. But I do think bulking and cutting has a place if you're trying to put on muscle. But at the same time, I do think that you don't need to do it in the traditional sense where you just overeat in a big way.
Do you guys follow macros?
Do we follow macros? So for you, those of you that don't know what macros are your protein, your fats, and your carbohydrates. And there's many different systems out there. So you have like 80-10-10, which is essentially like a high carbohydrate diet, 80% carbohydrate, 10% fat, 10% protein. You have other ones that are higher in fats. The different ratios vary. I generally don't count macros, and I don't even count calories. What we do have, and what we've kind of worked with the system that we have on this side, is we use volumes. So, and what I found is it helps people manage their eating a lot more when they travel and stuff. So we use volumes in proportion to your hand size, so like a fist size or a palm size or a thumb size. And what we found is that certain volumes correlate very closely within a certain amount of meals to how much you should be eating. And I know it sounds complicated, but this is one of the things on the side as well. But what I would say is that don't worry as much about macros, worry more about your total calorie intake. So what I do, I'll give you an example. I probably consume about 120 to 140 grams of protein a day, which by normal standards, a 120-pound woman should be consuming how much protein I consume. So it kind of sounds ridiculous when you think about it like that, and it makes you really question what society and mainstream nutrition has really taught everyone. So I consume about 100 to 140 grams of protein a day, and that's usually stays the same. That's like a fixed amount. It usually doesn't really change. The bits that do change, though, is the carbohydrates and the fats. So on days where I might be carb loading up for like a hard workout the next day, I'll eat more carbohydrates and I'll eat less fat. And I'll essentially carb load my muscles with glycogen so I can train really hard the next day. If I don't have a hard training session the next day, or I might have a rest day, I might add in more fat and slightly less carbohydrates. Now, I'm not saying this is right or wrong. I'm just saying this is what works for me, and I've seen this is what works for a lot of other people as well. And so what I do there is I'm just shifting the macronutrients around. So if I had to guess and I had to give you a rough estimate, I would say that my protein intake is probably 15 to 20% of my total calorie intake, maybe 20%, and my carbohydrate intake was maybe like 60%, and my fat's probably 20%. And on another day, my protein might be 20%, my fat might be like 40%, and my carbs might be 40%. So it does change. But what I will get back home and say again is remember that your total calories are more important. One of the things that my friend Mujan first told me when I was transitioning into this plant strong lifestyle was he said, don't stress out too much about macros. Everyone gets really stressed out, macros, I'm confused, like what ratio should I have to do this and that. What he said is just keep it simple. Eat enough food. Make sure that you're getting enough calories first. Very often, as long as you're eating a lot of whole foods from a diverse source and you're getting enough calories, you're going to be good. And then you can start refining that down once you make sure you get enough calories. So that's pretty much that message there.
Is the program month to month?
Is the program month to month? Yes. So there's no obligation to continue. You can sign up now and you can stay on, try it for a month. If you don't like it, you can get out. Because that's one of the things that we know that is frustrating for people is being bound into contracts and things like that. It's, people want to be able to try something and experience it to know that if it's for them. So it's month to month. Payments are each month, and every month the routines, the workouts, the nutrition boards, everything is going to change. So it's not going to be, the same thing every month on repeat. It's going to be evolving. We're going to take you through evolutions and cycles as we go. We're going to take you through that journey with us as well.
What is best if you have bad skin, acne, and redness?
What is best if you have bad skin, acne, and redness? So it depends to what extent. If you're talking about red skin as in like that rosacea sort of blood vessels, or if you're talking about just pimples and acne, I mean, like I was talking about in the presentation, and you may have already done this, but the fundamental thing is going to be dairy products. Dairy products are massively hormonally disruptive. So like what I've found and what I noticed with a lot of dermatologists is very often the first thing they will ask someone that they come in with skin problems is, are you consuming dairy? Because essentially pimples, inflammation, rashes, and things like that on the skin are just a sign that there's something hormonally out of balance in our body. So very often what I would suggest is the first thing would be the elimination of dairy. And obviously the next part would be looking at reducing down any animal products and moving to a plant-based diet, because those things also have high levels of estrogen. So you got to remember that animals, meat high in estrogen, because essentially that's what the main sex hormone was in those animals. So you're consuming high levels of estrogen, lots of hormonally disruptive stuff. If you're already on a plant-based diet and your skin is still not great, I would say 1, hydration. And that's obviously going to be a given even if you're not. So hydration, you need to be really hydrated. And 2, you need to look at how processed your diet is. So if you're consuming a lot of processed foods, that could be a hormonal disruptor as well. So realize that even on a vegan diet, if you're eating a lot of vegan junk food, that could be hormonally disruptive too, with all the processed sugars and inflammatory ingredients in those. That could be creating that skin irritation as well. And it even comes down to just things like even face washes and moisturizers. So if you're using, moisturizers, makeups, face washes, things with parabens and aluminum and lots of different chemicals in them, they can also affect your skin. So keep it simple. We use coconut oil on our skin. I use a little bit of baking soda or even like granulated sugar as a face wash. You can just keep things really simple. You can get natural deodorants, things like that you want to try and eliminate as many toxins that you're actually putting onto your skin, like deodorants, spray on deodorants and stuff like that. You want to eliminate as many of those things as you can. And I think if you do all those things, you'll probably see a dramatic change in your skin quality.
Welcome, Amanda Laird.
Welcome, Amanda Laird.
True You Fitness.
True You Fitness. We've got a whole bunch of people coming in. It's awesome. Amanda Graham. Nice.
That's Amanda Laird. That's her maiden name.
Any other questions, guys?
Wait, someone asked something.
I thought someone said, is it easy to cancel?
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, you did? Okay, cool.
You
Cool.
can go over it again if you want.
Yeah, so if you do want to cancel, it's easy. You can either just message us and we can just basically shut down the automatic payment link, and it'll clear it out and that'll be done with the click of a mouse. It can
Or
be
if
done.
you have a PayPal account, you can cancel it.
Or Lauren said if you have a PayPal account, you can cancel it at your end as well. So you're not tied into any obligations or anything like that. And that's part of this thing, is that we want to help people. Like, we don't want, this is not just a money making venture. Like, I get so many emails every day from people wanting help that we got to the point where we have to do something. Like, there's so many people out there who want help, and we can't, and so we feel like, how can we give back, and then how can we take some of this momentum we create and some of this and actually create some kind of charity movement or donation, or we want to give back eventually as well, even more and more and more than what we already are. So understand that this is like a passion project for us. It's not just some method of creating a business. It's a passion project. So we really want to create a movement, a following. We want to help people to change. We want to change the course that this world is traveling in right now, because as there are massive changes that are needed on the health front, on the environmental front, and on the ethical front. Otherwise, I hate to think what this planet's going to be like in 50 years' time. That's what I'm thinking about. I'm trying to expand beyond just myself and my own immediate satisfaction and things like that, and think, how can we be contributing to something greater as well? So, guys, is there any?
Let me use the headset.
Yeah, Lauren wants to jump on the headset for a second.
Hey guys, I just wanted to kind of respond a little bit to some of the ladies, and I can't even scroll back up high enough to get to the comments. Oh, maybe no. But a couple of ladies were talking amongst the chat roll about having trouble losing fat, and especially if they feel like they've built up some muscle now, but they're having trouble leaning out. And you guys have seen my picture in the webinar tonight, and you've seen the other fitness models that we posted who are vegan female athletes. So it definitely is possible, and it's something that we can definitely help you out with within the elite, especially with these bonuses here tonight, because you'll get the 30-minute one-on-one call to get you started, plus you'll get that customized workout. So that will, if you want to specifically talk to me, just, let us know when you schedule. We'll give you guys calendar links for both Fraser and myself, so you can pick who you might want to do your 30-minute call with. But it's usually like small things. That's why it's hard for me to give people a broad answer. And I get this kind of question a lot within the Facebook group. And it's hard to just give a simple answer. People might want to know, well, what exercise do I do? Or what food do I eat? Or what food do I eliminate? And it's usually not just some big, broad blanket statement, because if it was, you'd already be doing it and it would be easy. But it's usually just about tweaking some smaller things that are going on either in your diet, in your training, in your lifestyle. It could be some tweaks that we can make as far as your body's own natural hormones, and what could be causing some hormones to go out of whack. And it could be just a matter of changing up how you're training. Maybe it's the weights that we're lifting. Maybe we need to look at it more in depth. And that's one thing that's really hard for me to give general advice about. It's like when I can get on the phone and I can talk to you, or you can ask me questions inside the membership portal, I can have you posting and say, let me know what all of your lifts were, from this day's workouts. What weights were you lifting? How many reps did you do? How long did the workout take you? And so that way we can really see where the holes might be and why you're not getting the results that you want to see. And the same thing with your diet and, like I said, the lifestyle, the stress factors, all of those things. It's just, it can be when you get to that point that you're looking good, you're feeling good, especially if you've built the muscle that you want and now you're just really trying to lean out. It's usually going to be smaller changes that we're just going to have to dive into and really take a look at your routine. And figure out specifically for you what's going to get you the best results. And I just want to say welcome to, I forgot the name, it was in Australia. Somebody came in. I saw that one as well. So welcome to we had a bunch of new charter members join in tonight. So welcome to everybody. I'm excited to have you all in there. Make sure that you get in the membership site. I know Shane posted a screenshot of his already. He's got his profile set up. So make sure that you do that, and you can interact within the membership site. You can ask us questions in there. And there's a video on the welcome screen in your membership site that's going to explain how to use the site as well. So it makes it really simple for you. I walk you through it. I show you what you can do in there. So just take a few minutes to watch that tonight or tomorrow when you get a chance. I know it's kind of late already tonight. But we're looking forward to really interacting with you guys in there. And we'll also be posting inside the membership site the calendar link so that you guys can schedule those 30-minute calls. And we'll be giving you the information on all your other bonuses as well, your Beyond Meat package and your Vegan Essentials discount as well. All right, so that's awesome. I don't see any other questions coming in. I'm going to let Fraser jump back on. He wants to say a few final thoughts.
Hey guys, yeah, thank you again for being so patient at the beginning there. It was such a goddamn catastrophe early on. It was such a pain in the butt early on, but I'm glad that we got through this. And thank you for hanging around. And obviously remember, if you're still on the fence and you're trying to decide, remember this offer that we're having, so all these bonuses here are just for this live event. So I would say make the jump, test it out. If you don't like it, you can pull the plug and go back to doing what you were doing. But you're going to get the consult with us. So again, you can choose Lauren or myself. So if you're a woman and you want to talk about more sort of hormonal things related to female stuff, talk to Lauren. If you're a guy and you want to talk about more muscle building or more, even if it was just more performance, like, one of the things that I struggled with a lot was lethargy and tiredness and brain fog. So I've worked really hard to try and overcome those things. So if that's your thing, then maybe schedule the call with me. And again, you're going to get that custom workout plan from Lauren or myself, and all the other stuff. So all I can do is encourage you to just make that jump now, try it out, test it out, see if it's for you, have a go at it. Jump on all the bonuses here, capitalize on the fact that it's not $100 at the moment, and it's like literally half the price, and it will stay that way for you guys for as long as you're with us as well. So look, I just say capitalize on that, jump on it now, make the most of it, and really that's it, guys. I mean, if you have any other questions or anything, other than that, let me just see. I'm just checking here. For the direct message, yeah. So if you've been jumping on and off, or you haven't had a chance to get on properly, and you've maybe missed anything, message me, message Lauren, and we can set the link up for you and get you in as well. All right, guys. But look, again, thank you all for jumping on. And like I said, even though we have this program, the group is still going to remain the same. We're still going to post all that content in there. I'm still going to post the pictures of the food and help people out. That nothing's going to change in terms of the group. It's still going to be Plant Strong Fitness, that sort of loyal, close, compassionate, kind, supportive group as well. We just wanted to give this people the option to do this as well. So, look, other than that, everyone, thank you. Again, thank you for being on with us. Make that decision if you haven't made it already. And we look forward to talking to you more in the group and talking to you in the membership site and really helping you guys figure this stuff out and get some awesome, awesome results. All right, everyone. Have a good night, guys.